Hey, thanks for watching Mondays with Mike. I appreciate you checking out the link. I hope they're helping you become all that God created you to be. I want to speak for a second about being created. God created America 200 some years ago. He brought 56 men together, and on July 4th, 1776 in Philadelphia, they signed the Declaration of Independence from Great Britain. They saw that as a tyranny, and they wanted to come out and start a new government, a new country, and they declared their independence from Great Britain at the same time declaring their dependence on God. The declaration starts out with this: we are only subject to nature and to nature's God. And then towards the end says this: we now, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. They were not just declaring independence from Great Britain, they were clearly declaring dependence on God. See, our founding fathers, those 56 men, they did not believe that you could separate God from government. They thought they were interwoven. They thought God forms the government, He founds the government, He preserves the government, He protects the government, He blesses the government. They thought it begins with God and ends with God. And if you know anything about the faith of our founding fathers, that's clearly evident. But these men not only pledged their lives, but many of them gave their lives. Paul Harvey, and now the rest of the story, summarized what happened to these 56 men when he wrote something called Our Lives, Our Fortunes, and Our Sacred Honor. And he said the 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence, 9 of them died from wounds or hardships during the war. 5 were captured and tortured. Several lost wives and children and even their entire families. One man lost 13 children. 2 of the wives were brutalized by the British. All of them, all 56, were at some point victim of a manhunt driven from their homes. 12 of them had their homes burnt to the ground, and 17, Paul Harvey said, lost everything they owned. That's the rest of the story. Did God bless them? I think not a single one would say that it was not worth it, because all 56 of those men, not a single one of them went back on His sacred honor, back when honor meant something. And they knew that God was doing in them, even though they suffered great hardships, something great. And they would say, it's worth it. That brings us to here and now, and to me and to you. What are we doing? Are we those kind of people who are willing to pledge our life, our fortunes, and our sacred honor to divine providence, to divine protection from God? Are we willing to pursue what God has to show up and bless and be a part of in order for it to be successful? Are we calling our government away from condoning and even commanding what God condemns? And are we calling our government back to being who God has created her to be, so that the people can be who God has created them to be? Are we willing to stand in the gap regardless of the cost, so that God can do something great in us? This 4th of July, I go enjoy, have the cookout, hot dogs, hamburgers, whatever, watch the fireworks, wave the flag. But at some point this July 4th, get on your knees and declare your dependence on the divine providence of God Almighty, and His protection in your life, and His blessing your life, and His making you all that He created you to be. Thanks for watching Mondays with Mike. I'll see you next week.